Greetings, everybody. Hello. Welcome. Welcome, everybody, from YouTube, X, TikTok. We're live today talking about crypto, the underdog opportunity in crypto that nobody sees coming. My followers already know what I'm going to be talking about. Obviously, Ethereum, the number 2, is even more bullish than Bitcoin. Why is that? Lower liquidity, newer, more developers, more useful, real utility. And then altcoin season. When is it going to happen? When is altcoin season finally going to happen? A lot of people are giving up on crypto at the wrong time. And they've held since the tops, but they just are getting frustrated. And people are dropping like flies. All this stuff needs to happen before eventually a reversal. Because that's how bottoms are made. People capitulate, they get mad, they FUD their own bags, and they leave. And it makes way for the patient. You know, the impatient pay the patient. Some people think that a couple of years is too long for them, but I think everyone that's selling now is making a critical mistake. Why? It's because crypto's not going to be smaller tomorrow than it is today. The snowball's already in motion, it's hit critical mass, and you just can't go backwards with crypto. It's out there, and it's only a matter of time before it gets adoption. And now that we're in the attention economy, who is commanding the most attention? Who's attracting the biggest community? I'm talking about Pulse Chain. If you're new to this channel, that's what I talk about a lot here. Pulse Chain, Hex, PLSX, these are my picks on top of Ethereum, of course, that are going to outperform Bitcoin. Bitcoin did pretty good, but life-changing gains are, quite honestly, getting more and more out of reach. Everyone thinks crypto is just Bitcoin. It's much more than that. You know, normies on the street don't realize that Ethereum, Pulse Chain, all these coins have so much opportunity. So much more potential because they're newer and they have lower liquidity and less people know about them. So I hope there's some new people watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to see everybody. In the chat here. Good to see you, Brave. Cool. I don't know if you're calling me Brave. Checked my pulse, says, what's shaking Hexicans? Yeah, good to see you too, by the way. Travis Peak says, first time I've been able to catch you live in a while. Wag me. WAGME stands for we're all gonna make it, folks. Crypto lingo. Mortem Hake says, what up? Kirill, what's going on? My first cycle and I'm learning patience. That's right. If it was easy, everybody would be rich on crypto. But the reason most people aren't rich is because you hear a story about, oh, hey, I heard about Bitcoin. You know, I bought some drugs on the dark web 10 years ago. And woe is me, if only I would have held it. Because people can't hold. They can't invest. They don't have a long-term mindset. But everybody needs to be investing in something, in really anything, joining the capital class in some way if you want any chance at financial freedom or escaping the rat race. Obviously, you could start a business and bet on yourself, bet on your own education. That's always going to work, historically. Seems to work for a lot of people, including myself. But if you want to invest in something, crypto outpaces inflation and it beats equities by orders of magnitude, you know. Bitcoin went up. It's the highest appreciating asset class in the world. Let me share my screen. How do you like the virtual background? Hanging out at the old lake. This is the Hex chart. We're on a very long, extended dip from 2021. A lot of altcoins are still in the gutter as well. It's not only Hex and Pulse Chain. So a lot of coins are wrecked. People are chasing other stuff. There's kind of depression. There's kind of what would you say? Just a lot of uncertainty in the market. But it's not going anywhere. These things can't be shut off. You can't turn off Pulse Chain, Hex. You can't turn off Ethereum or Bitcoin. So when people have money to spend again and go risk on, when the government prints money, quantitative easing has already started, by the way. I saw that the government printed or bought back, $10 billion of their own bonds? Just recently, which is kind of like quantitative easing, injecting cash into the system. Pumps all of our bags eventually. Hey, welcome Sandy Beach. Welcome Digital Farmer. KD says, word up. Onboarding is a hurdle most will not endure, says DMath. Well, yeah, they will endure it. People will onboard when they're emotionally motivated to do so. I've talked about this before. All you got to do is make an account at gainpulsechain.com. It's really not that hard. Everybody watching, if you're new watching, most of my viewers are crypto native. They've been in crypto for a while. But the reason that most people are not going to invest in crypto is because they only want to wait for confirmation bias, for the numbers to go up so they feel comfortable doing it. because they can't see the trend here. The social trend is that people are forming communities like Pulse Chain. Like there are sub communities where people are feeling at home, and these are not priced in by the market yet at all. Pulse Chain has a lot more potential. I mean, I'm afraid of how bullish I really am. You know, hundreds of X's. But hey, even if we get a 10X in Pulse Chain, you beat pretty much every single equity over the past couple of years. S&P 500 by like a ton. So DMath, yes, I agree with you. He says there is no better opportunity. Yes, sir. Mortem Hicks says, love your content. Keep it up. Of course, of course. Checks my pulse, says bass biting on the lake. Lol. I am near a lake, but this is not a real lake, contrary to popular belief. Sandy Beach says, hey, checks me. Oh, all right. Everybody is just saying hi to each other in the chat. Yeah. What was my rant about? If you're not in the capital class, consider joining it. Consider saving, you know, as cheesy as it is, that $5 Starbucks every day, or those stupid subscriptions you probably have too many of, Netflix, Hulu, HBO, whatever sports gambling you're doing. Think of all that money just saved and tucked away in even something as conservative as Ethereum. Okay, I know it's sacrilegious. The maxis are going to hate me because I think Bitcoin's done. I mean, Bitcoin's awesome. Bitcoin walked so that we could run, but you're not going to make the gains anymore. So if you want to be conservative, at least park some extra money into Ethereum that can at least go to $10,000. Ethereum could go to 12K, 15K. It could even go higher. We could be on the golden timeline here, and yes, it is taking longer to play out. But look, this is the time where it separates the winners from the losers. The losers are going to sell the bottom, and the winners are going to buy from those people that couldn't take it anymore. When really, I mean, if you're investing, period, you should be investing with money that you can afford to lose. So it is going sideways, yes. Like Pulse Chain is near lows, but some people consider that a buying opportunity. Ethereum is still down 50% from all-time highs. And that's 4 years later after the previous top. A lot of times, people want to go to the 4-year cycle for predictability, and people worry themselves that we're not on track for this mythical 4-year cycle that at some point will break. So, never having had crypto in quantitative tightening before means this time could very well be different. Very well be different. You know, Bitcoin topped before it's happening for the first time ever. Institutions are in for the first time ever. They can now manipulate the prices. But this is all bullish in the end. I mean, you know, when it comes to institutional buying of crypto, BlackRock for the first week ever, just recently, finally had more Ethereum inflows than Bitcoin inflows. I think it actually had a week of Bitcoin outflows and like 300 million of Ethereum inflows to its ETFs. People that don't know, ETFs are exchange traded funds. Basically, it's a way for people in normal traditional finance to trade Bitcoin and Ethereum. So you can buy, it's almost like buying a stock that represents the underlying price of Bitcoin and Ethereum. But if you want to do crypto the right way, you know, just hold the coins yourself. You don't need to sign up with a middleman account. It might shut you off, might limit you. It's going to track everything you do. Just there's nothing better than buying the actual coins, holding your own private keys. If you're new, if you don't know how to do that, hexpassiveincome.com, really great starter course, really great beginner's course. Been talking about it for, I don't know, I've had it out for maybe 2 years now, and it's still just as relevant as it was. Plus, I'm adding more to it as time goes on. 2 more months. Yes, Richard Hart just did a tweet storm. So here's some alpha. Potential alpha. Okay. Mr. Richard Hart is the controversial founder of Hex and Pulse Chain, who just beat the SEC, by the way. Just got an SEC victory, meaning Hex, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X were the only cryptocurrencies to ever win in an SEC lawsuit case. They were alleged to be illegitimate, you know, fraudulent securities offerings. But all those claims were found to be total BS. So the SEC way overstepped their power. They got destroyed by the founder, Richard Hart. The victory over the SEC is something that no other cryptocurrencies have. No other cryptos actually have this form of legal clarity where they beat the SEC in court. Also because no other times have the SEC been so audacious to actually sue a piece of software, which is pretty ridiculous, but fuck around and find out, I suppose. When you're, what was I just going to talk about? Oh, Richard's tweet storm. Mr. Richard Hart says, Pulse Chain, I keep telling you that what you have is already far better than it needs to be. It only needs marketing. Not limp, dick, weak, a little here, a little there marketing. Legendary, massive, never been done before marketing. He speaks confidently because he knows exactly what such awesome marketing would look like. I have somewhat of an idea too. Believe it or not. His squad, I don't really get this part. My Money Skelly and his squad should be begging for marketing budgets, blah, blah, blah. You know, the middle part, the part about Ethereum needing to do more marketing. Richard always talks about how the Ethereum guys don't do good enough marketing. You know, not only is Ethereum Pulse Chain's testnet, but we're also Ethereum's marketing division. Everybody I see online that wants Ethereum to do well, the people yelling the loudest, making the good points, 170 content creators on YouTube, thousands of people on Twitter, on X. I think there's a more passionate community in Pulse Chain than even Ethereum itself, who kind of went big brain and soy boy and, oh, we don't want to talk about winning and number going up. All those guys that like talking about the truth of, yeah, we want the number to go up, they seem to have come to Pulse Chain. So there's some interesting points in Richard's tweet, which I guess I'll keep reading. He says, yeah, I'd like Ethereum to go up, but I'd like Pulse Chain to go up even more. And imagine this. Ads appear. People that have never heard of amazing peer-to-peer free open source software do. They see the opportunity. Users increase. Haters get mad. How dare someone advertise free open source reliable software to them? They post their butt hurt, amplifying reach. You guys remember the mail campaigns of 2020, 2021? People might not remember this, but there were some highly effective direct mail campaigns for Hex in the early days, and people were so triggered online. It was hilarious. They couldn't help but giving us free promotion because I guess they were so butthurt that they got a little card in the mail that said good things about Hex and Pulse Chain, which, by the way, Hex went up 10,000x. So, you know, if they weren't bitching and moaning online, they could have just bought it, probably captured a couple hundred of those X's, but their egos wouldn't let them. Their butthurt egos decided to take pictures of these postcards, these Hex postcards, post them online, complain, as if, you know, imagine complaining about the Domino's pizza offer that you get in the mail. All right, you get junk mail sometimes. You throw it away. You move on with your day, but not these crypto guys. Not these butthurt crypto soy boys. And all this in the past seemed to actually help Hex on the way up. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but who else is doing direct mail? And I know there's teams out there that are continuing this kind of thing. So users increase. Even the haters already in crypto think this thing might actually run, and there's so much potential. Many people in crypto rotate in. Big green candles beget more big green candles. The government money printer starts. I like the vision. You know, we could pump without all the awesome marketing that we do or that is in process. You know, if the government's going to print money, even some of the shittiest projects will still pump anyway, because all this extra money has to flow somewhere. And that's the thing that crypto people understand that normies don't really get yet, is that crypto censorship resistance is one of the main things, right? It can't be shut off. And that's only going to get more and more important as governments act more and more draconian. But every single government across the world is just printing their money away, which is why houses cost, 5 times as much as they used to when your parents were buying their first house. And the American dream of a 2-car garage and a 9-to-5 job and early retirement is basically out of reach for people my age, people in their 30s, or even especially people in their 20s. Imagine just starting off in life and they just doubled the money supply during the time that you were, let's say, in college, which they did. That really happened. Like the M2 money supply over COVID doubled. And now there's twice as much money with not twice as much goods and services, meaning shit's more expensive, and inflation is like a hidden tax that's eroding your purchasing power and your quality of life. So crypto's the way out for all that extra money to flow into and people to survive and stay afloat in this hyperinflationary race to the bottom. Doesn't matter what country, USA, China, UK, and other countries are doing it even faster. Let's continue reading this tweet. Let's see. The slingshot of suppression being released violently upwards. More and more butthurt from the sidelines. More and more interest. Because the majority of the world isn't on crypto Twitter. They're in the real world. Waiting for the opportunity, waiting for education. And I have this real good feeling that they'll learn probably in under 2 months. We'll see. Ooh, what could that mean, everybody? 2 months. Is this a bottom call? Is this a prediction? Under 2 months, something big might happen. How exciting. So Richard says, I'm curious to see how real massive marketing performs, as always. It's not I, but you, the community, that does all these nice things, and I'm happy a few of you decided to get it done. Onward and upward. Thank you, Mr. Hart. Thanks for the encouraging words there. What does he know, guys? What does Richard know? People talk about direct mail, but they don't understand how effective it is. A lot of these people haven't done business before. It's got a very high response rate. I think anyone that's run businesses that do any kind of advertising and marketing at all should understand direct mail is highly effective. But like I said, the government money printer, the federal funds rate coming down again, all these things are aligning. And even you couple that with Ethereum going to 10K, and we know that the sacrifice wallet's got 166,000 Ethereum, which was at one point worth over $1 billion. Look, that wallet was seen buying its own coins before in March of last year. What if it did that again? Not even with all of its money, but let's say 2%. If even 2% of that money rotated in, like it did last year, like we have proof of on-chain, which what other founder buys its own coins, by the way? That's just a pro tip about Pulse Chain, right? That's just a potential Easter egg, waiting to happen if it does. It could ignite a spark of FOMO buying for all the latecomers that are not doing the easy thing, or that are not doing the hard thing, which is buying low. Everybody likes to buy high, but all it takes is maybe 1 or 2% of that whole sacrifice fund to come in, because look, there's maybe $7 million of stablecoins backing all of PLS right now, maybe 10 million, but probably less last time I checked, because we're at the low points. So if you 10x the buy side, you 100x the price, meaning let's say $70 million comes in, which out of $1 billion would maybe be 5%, right? Maybe 6 or 7%. It doesn't really take much to light that spark, is all I'm saying. And the Pulse Chain survivors, the ones that are still here, the community, the real community that's committed, diamond hands, they understand that, which is basically the alpha. Okay, so if you're new, if you don't understand what's going on, that was a lot. But try to digest this. You can go follow all these different people, tons of people. All right, what are we talking about in the chat here? Hey, Coffee, thanks for your thoughts. Coffee has been educating people for years. Smash the like so he can educate more people. LOL. Thanks, Shock Trauma. Be smart and prepared. The Genius Act will or has destroyed crypto. Look, I don't think it's destroyed crypto, but it does give the government some crippling powers. The Genius Act is not a total death blow, but it's not this really... Everybody thinks the Genius Act is some awesome thing, and it's really just not. It really just makes me worried about decentralized stablecoins. For example, USDL, liquidloans.io, powercity.io, inkprinter.com. We've got 4 decentralized stablecoins on Pulse Chain today. What the Genius Act did is it basically said, okay, only banks and verified institutions can mint their own stablecoins. Now, obviously, there's legal arguments to be made, like if you're minting DAI or USDL, is there really a centralized entity minting that? No, it's just the individual. But what happens with all these collateral-backed stablecoins, these DeFi stablecoins? We haven't seen anything bad happen yet, and I really hope that nothing bad does happen, but this just paves the way for basically what we already thought, which was the central bank digital currency. So instead of having one CBDC, you've got, Tether and Circle and PayPal and all these companies, Robinhood. They're all going to make their own digital dollars on the blockchain with freeze functions, but they all get the okay from the Genius Act as long as they're within, the corrupt financial elites that crypto was invented to get rid of. So what happens to all these other stablecoins? I hope they don't go after them, and they really can't. If they're true DeFi, like you can't shut off USDL no matter how hard you want to, but you can make it a real pain. Like you could block USA IP addresses from getting to the front ends, which, as we've seen, like there's always a workaround for things like that. Look, I'm not thrilled with the Genius Act, right? It really needs more specifics for DeFi stablecoins, in my opinion. But we get what we get, and it's just, it moves the market forward anyway because now there's some legal certainty, I guess. So big institutions are happy, obviously, because they're part of the old boys club. I just really hope that it doesn't cripple the DeFi stablecoins. One Hexy Mofo says, I'd like to see a postcard that shows a white sandy beach, palm trees, and inviting hammock that says your future is calling you, and the website. That'd be nice. I think anything that does a pattern interruption. What is a pattern interruption? It's like throws off your default mode network, something out of the ordinary. You're used to getting all this paper mail, bills, advertisements, catalogs. It's got to look different, feel different, and just be a totally different type of mail. Back in the day, in order to get leads, I would send out, this is gimmicky, but you can go to this website called 3dmailresults.com, and you can buy, these items, like these carrot top type of like prop items, like all, fake plastic items. But you can buy, for example, like a pill bottle, and you could roll your message up and put it in a pill bottle and say, hey, I've got the prescription for your business. And it's just something weird. It's like a plastic object that you mail people. And these mailers have a huge success rate because, you don't get like a pill bottle in the mail every day. Someone comes through, they say, I didn't order that. Or like a big one was the message in a bottle, right? So it's like a plastic bottle with a message rolled up inside and a cork on top. And that kind of stuff I think is awesome. Because if you want to target specific, it's expensive. Like you can't really do that in bulk. But if you want to target like leads of business owners and stuff like that, it is a really pretty cool idea. So if you guys want, like, I'm giving away free mail ideas. If you want to mail any CEOs or decision makers, maybe for your own business, but if you want to help shill Pulse Chain and Hex as well, 3dmailresults.com. Hex Buffer says pimp is coming. What does that mean? Kryptonite says, whatever happened to all that money decentralized me received from Godwell for marketing? I don't know. I really hope he still does it. Last I heard, he was like forming a marketing plan with some company. Haven't heard anything since then, so it'd be really nice to get an update. You guys should go pester him on Twitter for an update. Because, yeah, that would be nice to see right now, wouldn't it? Shock Trauma says, can we get to 55 likes? Hell yeah. Crypto is an inflation eater. Yes, it is. I try not to buy high. We try not to buy high. Yet, sometimes we still do. Amish Kid says, what people are sleeping on is TFC. Quit fading. All right, all right. I like that Amish Kid. He's all right. I don't know what those tickers are, sir. Caesar says, what do you recommend to buy first? I don't recommend anything, but I like all of them. If I was, I don't know. Hex and PLSX. Look, PLSX is newer. If you don't want the cycle 1, cycle 2 stigma. It's also the endpoint, meaning if people ape into PulseX, they have to buy PLS up along the way. What I'm doing personally is basically an even split of all three. So if you got 5K to invest, what about 2K in each one? I split mine up pretty evenly when it comes to PLS, Hex, and PulseX. You can stake your hex, average your eggs proportionally when you buy the cores. Lumpy Mail, Dan Kennedy. Oh yeah, Lumpy Mail is what it's called. P-wrapped Bitcoin are very important copies. All right, let's see. So when Pulse Chain was created, it was actually a system state copy of everything on Ethereum. So a lot of people have free coins that they don't even know about yet. If you were holding wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum back in 2023, well, when Pulse Chain launched, what you actually had was a chain split and all the coins got copied as well. So P-wrapped Bitcoin is kind of people are kind of memeing it, trading it almost as a meme token, but it's not doing terrible. It's gotten a lot of attention. And so every P-wrapped Bitcoin, let me try to find it. WBTC is still the ticker symbol, right? It's the same contract address on Pulse Chain that it was on Ethereum. Wrapped BTC, not wrapped BTC from Ethereum. See, the problem is it's so hard to find the WBTC. It's so hard to find the ticker symbol. All right, so for every one wrapped Bitcoin you had, you got a free $400 token over on the other platform. Check it out, pulsechain.com. Go to pulsechain.com, check out where the bridge is at. And if you want to, sell the coin for more Pulse or trade it for some other token, you can do that all from all the helpful links on pulsechain.com. So the world's largest airdrop is what Pulse Chain was. New people still need to be reminded, you might have free money just for being an Ethereum user back in the early 2020s. Actually, if you used Ethereum at all, if you had any coins before it launched, you have free tokens. Just saying. And this chart's on a pretty heavy correction. But if we zoom out, look, it went up about 4x. 5x from near the lows. $70, now it's almost $400. Pretty remarkable. People will trade anything, right? There's $446,000 of liquidity too, so it's not like there's no liquidity. Some people really like the P copies. Some people really like trading them. TFC is Tim Benjamin's token. Oh, shout out to Timothy Benjamin. What's he doing? I know he has a good looking chart for his token, doesn't he? So there's always stuff pumping on Pulse Chain. I'm still here. A lot of people are still here. Pretty hardcore community. And then TFC, I guess there's this guy named Timothy Benjamin who started a coin. And the chart looks good. But what is the coin? The Fitzgerald Company is a token launched by a man who owns a construction business of the same name. Is our attempts to bring professional conduct into the cryptocurrency market. Interesting. Another example of an external company using Pulse Chain. I know Soil, Sun Mini Meal token. It's called, the ticker is Soil. They brought millions of dollars onto Pulse Chain. Millions, okay? Like they got over $1 million of liquidity and tons of buy pressure. And their token did a 5x or maybe a 10x or something. The Fitzgerald Company. All right, Timothy Benjamin. Timothy Benjamin Consulting LLC. I love the website. It's just text. According to Article 1, I have the Constitution. Congress. Okay. He's demanding that the Federal Reserve be audited, if not abolished altogether. Another option. I'm a bit confused, but congratulations on the pump, dude. Abolish the Fed, yes. It's not going to be abolished, but crypto is kind of the opt-out plan. We're building parallel financial ecosystems, and if the government can just mint all the money they want, why don't you have the math dictate how much money you can mint? So it replaces corrupt, perversely incentivized traditional systems with limited, decentralized, basically deflationary systems. Pulse Chain is deflationary. So is Pulse X. And the inflation of Hex is very, very low. All these systems are better than the crazy unpredictable inflation, the doubling of the money supply in the past 4 years. Like, the system of the Fed today is just not working out so well. So crypto does a better job. Joe says my percents are 40% PHEX, 20% Wrapped Pulse, 15% Pulse Hex, 15% EHEX, and 10% INC. That's right, I haven't really talked about INC token. I have a bag of INC. It is smaller than my other bags, but you never know. There was a rumor in the code, actually. There was a comment in the code that said INC could potentially be used as a governance token for Pulse Hex one day, after it's sufficiently decentralized. Now, whatever that means is arbitrary and pretty subjective. But when Pulse Chain gets to a state of maturity where we might want governance, all that code is, I mean, it was on the testnet, if you guys remember. INC voting was on the testnet. So one day INC could have a utility. Right now, it's kind of just a meme coin, but it's Richard Hart's fourth ticker. A lot of people don't realize, you know, it's Hex, Pulse Chain, Pulse Hex, and INC token. So I farmed a whole bunch of it. I'm not farming it anymore because the yield dried up. The inflation rate dried up heavily. But I am holding what I had just in case. You never know. Old Zealand. What a great name. Old Zealand. Says buy the dip. Yep. All right. What else are we talking about? Thoughts on the Richard Hart tweet? Yeah, I just read through it. It's interesting to see what he has in store for the next 2 months. I agree. The man's got a plan. If you think the guy is just sitting around with no plan, I think you are sorely mistaken. I wouldn't want to bet against him or the whole community, the passionate community, die-hard believers. You don't have that anywhere else. I mean, we could survive a 99% drop. Okay, what other community would still be here going hard at the bottoms? Pretty much nobody I'm aware of. Thomas says if you buy Bitcoin and not Hex, you do not like the environment. Therefore, you do not like turtles. That's not okay. People don't realize Bitcoin is bad for the environment. I mean, it's a silly argument because you're like, okay, well, is the price of decentralized peer-to-peer money worth it? Probably. I mean, it does use a lot of renewables and it does encourage renewable energy. But all that aside, we've got proof-of-stake systems. So Ethereum and Pulse Chain, by design, use 99.99% less electricity than Bitcoin does. And it doesn't have to be that way. Proof of work is old, and people hate hearing that because they've rested on their laurels. All the Bitcoin maxis think that, like, imagine if you thought, like, at the DVD player, that was the best we were ever going to do, and no one was ever going to invent anything better than the DVD player. And now, like, everyone's watching Netflix and just laughing at these guys still worshiping the DVD player. That's Bitcoin. Okay, now Bitcoin, yeah, it's got the biggest brand name. It's synonymous with crypto. It's got the most liquidity, most on-ramps, but also the least opportunity in terms of number to go up, which is what you guys care about. Slump says, what's the APR right now on Hex and will it change after the bull? The APR on Hex, it depends on how long you stake. So with Hex, longer pays better. The thing about Hex is it's got time locking, meaning it monetizes time. If you stake for 1 year, you're not going to get as much yield as if you stake for 10 years. Okay, so we can go to hexcalc.net if you want to see the exact, hold on a second, hexcalc.net. And we'll just say what happens if you take 100,000 Hex for 1 year at no price increase. Maybe it's not going to load for me. That's unfortunate. I thought this website worked. Old Dealand is shilling his donation address. Good luck with that, bro. Good luck with that. All right, I don't know why hexcalc.net doesn't seem to be working. One more time, guys. Let's try one more time. So, as I was saying, longer pays better. 1 year stakes are not going to make as much yield as a 10-year stake, but the average Hex payout per T-share per day goes up little by little. Because as T-shares get more scarce, you're dividing up the same amount of global yield over less T-shares. So eventually, the Hex payout per T-share per day is going to go up. So if you maintain the same amount of T-shares, like we saw the payout per T-share per day over the past 2 years go from 6.5 on average to like 8. 8 Hex per T-share per day. So that's, I don't know, 20% increase maybe. And that's still happening, even though the inflation was cut. The yield was cut by the OA making massive stakes. Now I think it's like 1.5. But hey, in 2 or 3 more years, maybe that goes up to 3 or 4 hex per T-share per day. And that accelerates because T-shares become deflationary at an accelerating rate. At least they have so far, unless something totally changes. Unless the adoption rate changes or somehow less people are using crypto in the future, which I'm almost positive is not true. Milan Tank says coffee. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Buy the dip. Yes, yes, yes. It's good to see Richard Hart bull posting. It's good to see him calling people out for fudding their own bags. A lot of people fudding their own bags out there. No one's forcing you to be here, by the way. But I also think he makes a good point. A lot of people aren't on Twitter. I mean, the echo chamber is not just... It's not like we're just talking to each other. It's that we're talking on Twitter when a lot of people have real lives. You know, a lot of people hopefully are a little more mentally stable than us Twitter freaks. And they're not on crypto Twitter. Maybe they're on Twitter, but like a lot of people are on Facebook. People are on YouTube. People are just going to their jobs, trying to get by. And I don't blame them. I mean, there's kind of a trend to do less social media. So all those guys that don't obsess over every single thing Richard Hart says or, you know, whatever Michael Saylor is doing or whatever Elon Musk and Trump said, a lot of people just want to live normal lives. So a lot of opportunity out there to go target these people. Think about all these normal people. Regular folks, guys. Regular folks. We're hardcore crypto people on this channel. People watching this channel understand that. But let's put ourselves in the shoes of like, I don't know, some 3rd grade teacher from Alabama, right? What does she know about crypto Twitter? Hopefully nothing. But does she want to make money? Yeah. A lot of people want to make money. That's the unifying factor. Everybody just wants a better life. Everybody wants that price potential. That's what crypto offers. That's a pretty universal thing, right? That's why I see all kinds of shapes and faces. All different races, demographics, genders. There's actually a lot of women in crypto because it's like you want to make money. That's not a gender specific thing. What else did Richard tweet about? Richard says, I've been through more 95% dips than I care to count, and during exactly none of them did I feel the urge to FUD myself or FUD the bags I invested in. I usually just keep doing what works and making progress. Usually the results show up on delay after the work is put in. Not such a crazy concept, but I guess some people just are really self-defeating, victimizing, self-victimizing losers, quite frankly. You know, keep that stuff to yourself because it infects everybody around you with your negative attitude. But there's no shortage of that online, right? Misery loves company, crabs in a bucket, yada yada. Imagine buying a coin and then fudding your own bags. Never made any sense to me at all. I once read a story about an airline losing someone's bags. The passenger was yelling at the overworked employee until she heard there's only 2 people left in the world that care about finding your bags, and one of them is losing interest. So Richard says, the moral of the story is know who's on your team. Look, if we're all holding the same coins, we should be on the same team. So it's kind of shooting yourself in the foot to try to talk down about your own bags, unless you're thinking about selling. See, what I think a lot of people have is like, they don't believe in their bags, and as they're selling, they want to bring other people down with them. But you don't have to stoop to that level, guys. You can just ignore it. Block, mute, straight up ignore. If you ghost trolls, that's the thing to do. You have literally nothing to gain by interacting with a troll unless they have more followers than you. All the troll wants is your reaction. Even if you block them, trolls are such losers that they'll just like, they'll brag about getting blocked. But really, it just eats them up inside because they wish they got some attention at all. Usually because their personal life sucks. What's going on in the chat, folks? Newbies need to... NFT says, newbies need new, clear, easy, and short video tutorials on how to on-ramp Pulse Chain from Coinbase, MetaMask, and Phantom. Sir, have you watched my videos? Maybe I can make shorter ones. Maybe I can make them even shorter and easier. Oh, he says, TBH, I think you're the best at it. Thank you, NFT Cluck. I really appreciate that, dude. Yeah, I was watching my own videos, you know, as you do sometimes, and realizing, yeah, sometimes they need to be even more short, even more concise. Like, 10 minutes is too long for some people. Why not 5 minutes? Why not 2 minutes? Really direct, really to the point. But I've got plenty of tutorials, and if you want like a one-stop shop of everything you need to know, from security, how not to get hacked, yield farming, how to make passive income, safety, terminology, concepts, hexpassiveincome.com. If you're new to crypto, that is the course for you. I made it to onboard people, and it does. It onboards people, especially when you pay a little money, you pay a lot more attention. So give it a chance if you're brand new. A lot of people watching are probably too advanced for it. Joe says, I'm in great shape considering the markets the past 3 years. Yeah, that's good, man. Like, I feel like crypto and investing in general gives us something to hope for. You know, it gives us like an optimism, a new lease on life, because you actually get to wait to see how things unfold. You're not, instead of just like mindlessly consuming and victimizing and saying, oh, the world sucks, it's like you can try to identify the trends of where culture is going. That's what I think we've all really tapped into on Pulse Chain. It's like we found this thing where it's incredibly underpriced. It's cheap. It's cheap because of the community, the founder, the technology that can't be shut off, the SEC victory, the utility of the coins, like PulseX with the buy and burn, monetizing time. All these things make it hugely undervalued, because the honest truth is like not a lot of people are in crypto in general. And the ones that are kind of doing this PvP meme coin trading game for the past couple of years, where there's a little bit of new people sometimes. I know we've all onboarded people in the bear market, of course. And congratulations if you're here actually onboarding yourself in the bear market, because it's hard to do. But for the most part, we haven't seen retail euphoria of like the hordes of, well, for lack of a better word, let's just call them dumb money, because they're emotional top buyers that will come back one day, but not right now. Hey, according to Richard Hart, it could be up to 2 months away. Not so bad when you consider we've been down for 4 years. Well, Bitcoin topped in 2021, so it's 2025, maybe three years. Look, dips are just opportunities for people that believe. Oh, Rich is asking for an Interpol update. So Richard Hart, the founder of Pulse Chain, he still has a red notice on Interpol, which is European, like the European FBI, kind of underfunded, understaffed, slightly corrupt. Everybody thinks it's bogus. You know, they said they got him on tax evasion, and they accused him of like some kind of assault of like punching a kid or something, which nobody believes, of course. And now after he finally beat the SEC, I don't think the USA three-letter agencies are interested in going after them anymore. And it sounds like it was those agencies that started this whole thing in the first place. Started this whole witch hunt. That's what it is. It's a witch hunt. So all I know about Interpol is that they meet 2 to 3 times a year. They don't have a schedule when they meet, but every time they meet, they discuss whether or not they want to backtrack any of their any of their red notices. And so Richard's legal team has had experience with this kind of thing before. I'm fairly confident they're going to get it removed at the next available opportunity. Quinn Emanuel, I mean, they're the perfect legal team. They already helped him get the SEC victory. Now he's got to clear his name off the Interpol red notice sheet, and I'm assuming after that he'll be cleared to live stream too. Like, I don't have any information more than anybody else. But I know that if you live stream, people can kind of track where you are. It might put him at unnecessary risk, and I'm nearly positive that his legal team is advising him not to go live. I mean, he made a video, so he's not going anywhere. I think he cares more about his projects than almost anybody else, right? Obviously, the founder cares more. But what you've got like emerging in Pulse Chain is Richard is just like, he's like the Justin Sun of Tron. You know, Tron went down for 790 days in a row before it pumped up and made everybody rich. And all the Tron founder did was he didn't give up. So Richard Hart could just be the Justin Sun of Pulse Chain, except with even more potential because it's got way lower liquidity. It's really all just about supply and demand mechanics. And Richard knows that better than most people. I mean, look, you look at all the founders, CZ, Binance Smart Chain, look at how well that did. Justin Sun, Tron, look at how well Tron did. I mean, yeah, Tron only went up 36x in the past couple of years, but only 36x is pretty laughably good, you know? To say Pulse Chain has more potential than that is outrageous and true. But all these founders, the common factor is that they care more about their project than anybody else. Even look at some of the lackluster chains. Like look at Charles Hoskinson. Charles Hoskinson created Cardano, ADA, and that chain is hot garbage. Why do I say that? Look, I'm sure it works fine. Number one, Charles has been a dick to the community, so rude. Kind of like he's kind of on his high horse, holier than thou BS. Which I know he's apologized, but whatever. It doesn't even matter because his chain only gets like $3 million or less of daily volume. Pulse chain, being 2 years old, gets 4 times more volume even on its slowest days than the entirety of Cardano does. And Cardano's been out for 6 years. Pulse chain's been out for 2 years. So that's not even competition, right? We kind of smoked Cardano. But let's look at the actual competition, right? Like Ton blockchain today got $5 million of volume. Pulse chain got $7 million of volume. So we're doing more volume than Ton. We're doing more volume than Abstract. Doing more volume than... What else? Polygon surprisingly only has $50 million of volume. Polygon was pretty big a couple years ago. It still is big for Polymarket and for stablecoins. Sonic. I almost feel like, Pulse chain is sometimes in the ballpark of Sonic. Sonic does a little more volume now because the transactions are so cheap. We're doing more volume than Ripple chain, XRPL chain. I mean, we're really killing it on all aspects of a lot of these different statistics. Obviously, the L2s have a ton of volume because they're near zero fees. Way more volume than Chronos. We're doing more volume than Tron. I find that hard to believe, actually. But speaking of Tron, Pulse chain is doing 3 to 4x more volume. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Tron was Joe says Tron was just a PETA with the bandwidth and energy wallet system. I stopped using it back in 2019, but it's been a great store of value in bear markets. Yeah, look, I think Richard just wants his piece of the pie, right? He wants his kingdom. And in order to have a blockchain kingdom, you need a community and a blockchain itself. So to take Hex and put it onto the Pulse chain network was a pretty big move. And I think he's got a longer term vision than most people can see possible. So if this thing takes another 2 or 3 years, like there's a few of us that are still going to be here. We can kind of tell who they are right now at these down markets, right? Hey, Toby Wan. What's up, Toby Wan? He says, people forget there is more to life than bickering on X. Lost a lifelong dear friend yesterday and really puts things in perspective. Be kind, bull is coming, appreciate your vibes. Thanks, Toby Wan. I'm sorry to hear that. There is a lot more to life than stupid Twitter beef, especially among like low follower nobodies. Like, who cares, man? Outrage marketing only works when you're punching upwards. Toby wants this. Dominic, I think you can find that info on apphex.win. But yeah, if you want to check out apphex.win. Oh, let's see the question. All right. If RH holds 90% of the supply, how much would this be in coins? I don't know. I think the supply of Hex is about 650 billion coins. So that means there's maybe 65 billion coins circulating or staked by the users. But then think about this, right? Think about how much of Richard's coins has he secretly bought back. Everybody's dumping at the lows. It's really easy to scoop up some of these coins at the lows. And how much actual circulating supply is there? It could be even lower than 10%, Yeah, he's talking about how we could see how little money it would take. There's no way to know, but it's not about the coins that are circulating, it's about the coins that are for sale, meaning liquidity. Like circulating supply and liquidity are not the same thing. Because the Bitcoin circulating supply is claimed to be 17 million, right? But there's not 17 million coins for sale. And in fact, like multiple millions of those are probably lost forever. It's way more important about how much is for sale, which means liquidity. How much is on the order books. And with the DEX, it's very transparent. With the DEX, the cool thing about Pulse chain is you can get as close as possible to like mathematical certainty about how pumpable everything is. With a coin like Ripple, you have no idea like where these dark pools of liquidity are. You have no idea if there's OTC trades, but there are OTC trades on a lot of these. Pulse chain is as clear as it gets. Like, you know, for example, you can just look at the liquidity statistics and see that. Hex has, on its biggest pair, $2 million of liquidity, 1.1 million buy side. So $10 million, 100x is the price. $10 million into Hex pushes us to 60 cents. We can go to Pampi.app. Pampi, Pampi.app. It's a very nice website. Shout out to Runeskis. Here we could see if we only want to put money into, let's say, PLS. All right. We only want to put money into PLS, and we put $10 million in there. Well, how far would $10 million, which is not that much money, all right, that would pump the price 5x. Okay. If we put 100 million in, also not that much money, everything would go up 190x. Okay. Pretty crazy. That's because of the low liquidity, and these numbers are able to be calculated because it's all on chain. If you had like so many exchanges and OTC desks, and if you were, if we were in the situation of Bitcoin or Ripple, it would be very hard to calculate that kind of a thing. Pampi.app, guys, if you want to get bullish, if you want to give yourself bull-tardliosis, there is no cure for bull-tardliosis, by the way. Turk Montana says, everyone has something to say. Most of it's just trash noise. Fade the crowd. Stick to your vision and goals and believe in your principles, and we will win. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day. Hell yeah, Turk. Love the optimism. I love the enthusiasm. I'm bullish. Oh, and speaking of what I'm bullish in Top Hat token as well. Top Hat token, my favorite meme coin on Pulse Chain. It wouldn't be a crypto coffee stream if I didn't shill my token. Where are we here? Probably in the top something. Oh yeah, we're number 28. Not bad at all. Little recovery on the old Top Hat chart. We're still up 5x from my announcement date. We seem to have diamond-handed holders, and we are number 28. This is with not my foot completely on the gas, let's just say. We've got some tricks in the hat, let's just say. Top Hat token. A meme. It's a nod to Richard Hart's early videos, the founder, the man with the whimsical top hat. If you want to talk about low liquidity, $56,000 on the buy side, guys, means $500,000. $500,000 could potentially 100x us. Who knows, everybody? Who knows? Who knows what could be in store? A little old Top Hat. My favorite meme coin, the premier best meme coin on Pulse Chain. Go follow at Top Hat Pulse. It's also a profile picture bot. My profile picture on X is actually generated from the PFP bot, we call it. Check out the Top Hat PFP bot. If you reply to anybody online, and you say go, and then you tag at Top Hat Pulse, it takes their profile picture and puts a little top hat on them. It's good. Give it a try. KD knows. KD likes Top Hat. I think he's the mod in our channel. What's up, KD? Dominic says, unpopular opinion. If we run up, many people get greedy and selling stops. That's true. That's how it works. You're right. Many people will FOMO and round trip again. Yeah. People, people are predictable. I think there's more potential than most think. I do too, Dominic. Toby wants says, who doesn't love a top hat? You know what? I'm going to add that to my to-do list. I need to go shopping for an actual top hat. I need to spice up my streams a little bit, guys. Spice them up. Put the top hat on. Nobody cared who I was before I put on the top hat. All right, y'all. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video, leave a comment. We got 12,000 viewers, or 1,200, rather. Why is Top Hat in one of my wallets? I didn't even buy it. Oh yeah, that's another one. There was a 5555 Top Hat airdrop to everybody holding BEST token on March 31st, I believe was the cutoff date. So you're welcome. I know that's like $20 only, but hey, could be $200 one day. Who knows? Make sure you check your wallet. You might have a free airdrop of Top Hat token. It's also got strategic liquidity bonds. It's also got, there's no tax. There's a big 555 ETH whale seen buying Top Hat. There's been over $200,000 of it burned. There's been 3.69% of the supply that's owned by the Pump.Tires deployer. We've got a yield farm on emit.farms. We've got low liquidity, but not too low. We're liquidity bonded with UFO, PTGC. We're bonded with Hex. We've got a market update bot. We've got a chart that went up. We've got LP bond to surf token. Could be some arbitrage. There could be some bots coming, some trading bots coming. Could be some buy and burns coming. And also, yeah, it launched on Pump.Tires, by the way. So because it launched on Pump.Tires, that liquidity, the initial PulseX liquidity, has been burned. Shout out to Pump.Tires. Pretty cool. Let's go back to Google Chrome. Or rather, Brave. Let's see. Before we go, I just want to touch on Pump.Tires. If you want to go degen on some meme coins, if you're maybe a celebrity, maybe you've got a lot of clout online, and you want to get into Pulse Chain, you can launch your own token over here. This token launcher is pretty awesome. Oh, damn it. I accidentally decline those all the time. All right. Let's see if there's anything that makes me laugh on Pump.Tires today. People just make coins out of everything Richard tweets. Skirt coin. These guys are funny. I understand the reference. We're heavy on the internet culture, everybody. Crypto. We're real deep into that. You got James Wynn. I am so sick of hearing about James Wynn. Some degen losing a bunch on leverage trading. It's probably a psyop. Probably just an advertisement for Hyperliquid. Terrible. Caddy, where did the PDI go? Oh, Jesus Christ. We got a racist meme. What would it be without racist meme? Well, I think you guys need to get more creative. Actually coin, that's kind of funny. Come on, guys. You got a meme like your life depends on it. Pump.Tires, it's hard to get out of there. It's hard to graduate, but you got a couple of guys that they meme pretty well. You got Dick with Butt. You got Solana on Pulse Chain. The real Solana. Sol on Pulse Chain. Bitcoin Hex, which I think is a fun meme coin. Bitcoin Hex is heavy Pulse Chain lore. That was the name of Hex before it was just Hex. It used to be called Bitcoin Hex for a minute. There's a bunch of fake Hex meme coins floating around. There's the fake PDI. Debatably the real PDI. Yeah, look, meme coins are the meta. We saw Pump.Fund do unbelievably well. But all that money, all that Solana and Pump.Fund was extracted by the CEO, the founder. He took everyone's soul and he dumped $700 million of Solana. Negative sell pressure. You know, wouldn't it be awesome if you had a platform that didn't do that? Like Pump.Tires, which all those fees, instead of going to a rich guy to dump the price, all the fees get burned. So, just to show you guys, look into Pump.Tires. Shows us that almost 6 billion PLS has been burned from trading fees alone, not to mention all the Pulse now locked in liquidity pools for all the graduated tokens. So, could be up to $1 million worth of coins now out of the hands of degens or people that would have sold anyway. Now it's just burned. Supply goes down. These are all interesting dynamics. It doesn't get dumped, it just gets burned, guys. And when it graduates to PulseX, all the coins that get traded over there, the volume gets generated into a buy and burn. And, you know, the supply of PLSX goes down. And it gets bought up. The price gets bought up, supply gets burned down. Pretty easy to understand. What about the Black Diamond? Oh yeah, we've got the Enigma Diamond. Alright. One last show. There's like... Somebody gifted me DMND coin. So Richard Hart bought the world's largest diamond for cultural heritage. And of course now it's a meme coin. Now it's a meme coin. DMND. DMND Pulse. Well, pretty heavy dip. But hey, I've got a gifted little bag of this, so I wouldn't mind seeing this one go up. The world's largest diamond came from outer space. It's black. It weighs 555.5 carats and has 55 facets. And the longest amount of days you could stake your hex is 5555. So the Hex.com diamond, bought by the flamboyant billionaire Richard Hart. Someone made a meme coin for it, obviously. Shout out to Hex Diamond. The Space Rock. Expensive Space Rock. Purple diamond. It's a black diamond. It's not purple. It actually is pretty cool. I mean, I don't even know if Richard actually... I mean, he owns it. He paid for it. I think he wants to put it in a museum. We'll see if he's still serious about that. Haven't heard much about the museum. I'd go to the museum. Hey, Richard, RH Maximalist is saying he might go live soon. Why don't you go hop over to RH Maximalist stream? Guys, make sure you like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Thanks for coming. Enjoy your Sunday, and hang in there. The people that win are the people that are patient and treating this dip as an opportunity. Keep your head up. Don't fudge your own bags. See you on the next.